coming to you from Las Vegas. This is known as Warzone Live, Monday through Friday. Now it's 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific. Great to be with you. All kinds of things happening. Economic issues are my number one thing. Border issues are my number one thing. DEI issues are my number one thing. We had Don Trump Jr. yesterday, and we finish up with Laura Trump today. Laura, Wayne Allyn, how are you? We got a big guest and a great interview today with Dr. Oz with us right now.
Good to see you. I like your tie, by the way.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Great to see you. Always great to have you on the show.
Wayne Allyn Root, happy to see you again on the cutting edge of things on your show, whether it's medical, political, you name it, you're on top of it. So just great to hear that. Great to hear that.
So wonderful to be with you again, Wayne. Good to see you.
Thanks for having me. It's good to be with you tonight.
It's great to see you, Wayne. How you been?
Anytime, Wayne. Great to see you.
Hey, Wayne, great to see you, brother.
Hey, Wayne, good to be with you.
Wayne, thanks for having me. I appreciate it. Lots going on.
Doing great, Wayne. Glad to be here.
Well, thanks, Wayne. I don't see myself as a hero. I'm just trying to keep this community safe.
This is The War Zone, the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. 2.5 million unique daily readers. Also on Rumble under Wayne Root, Wayne Allyn Root, or Warzone. Then on weekends, we got our big show, America's Top 10 Countdown on Real America's Voice TV. While everybody else is giving opinions, I give solutions. And some of them Trump takes, some of them he doesn't. I wish he'd take all of them. This is the Wayne Stream Media. No more mainstream media allowed in. Only Wayne Stream Media, meaning raw truth and in-your-face mother trucker information. The Root's on fire. Welcome to my show, Warzone Live. Monday through Friday, official podcast, The Gateway Pundit, 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific.
Warning! The Root's on fire! You're about to experience the most high-octane, pedal-to-the-metal controversial show of your life. Please buckle up and hold on tightly. This station is not responsible for injuries. This is Wayne Allyn Root, raw and unfiltered, with America's favorite conservative rock star, direct from the entertainment capital of the world, Las Vegas. What time is it? It's time for war! Here's your host, 100% raw truth, 100% American made, the warrior, Wayne Allyn Root.
All right, Wayne Allyn Root. The Root is on fire. Welcome to the show. My new Robert Graham shirt. We're testing it out. Does this work on TV? I think it works on TV. It's a gorgeous shirt. It's probably more suited for a nightclub than it is for a podcast. But, you know, I'm kind of a nightclub guy. Very few people know I owned a nightclub at the age of 23 years old. Might have actually been 22. In 1983, I think it was. So I was probably 22 going on 23 years old. And I bought one of the biggest nightclubs in New York City with the help of a bunch of rich guys who gave me $1 million. And I became the majority managing partner of one of the biggest nightclubs in New York City. So I've been in the nightclub business my whole life, for the start of my life. Biggest news stories of the day today. I'll make sure the sound's off on my cell phone. There we go. So once in a while, someone from Hollywood tells the truth. John Cleese, the legendary Monty Python star, has drawn a clear line in the sand, declaring himself a culturist who believes some cultures are superior to others. Cleese has openly backed the Restore Britain leader Rupert Lowe amid the accelerating collapse of the British norms under mass migration. And I would say more than mass migration, that's bad enough, but it's Muslim mass migration, which is a disaster. Some cultures are better than others, and some cultures should be kept out of Western civilization. The legendary comedian responded this week to ritual insults hurled at him for supporting the Reform Party of UK, which is like the conservative MAGA party, by rejecting the tired, racist smear from the usual overeducated and uneducated. That's, by the way, that's my own interpretation, those words. That's the entire liberal world, the entire Democrat Party, the entire communist world. It's a combination of ignorant, uneducated masses of asses who are all on welfare, want government to take care of them cradle to grave, and a sliver of overeducated losers from Ivy League and elite institutions. In Europe, it might be Oxford or Cambridge. All these elite institutions are just brainwashing factories, and they just push out little rich, spoiled brat, hate themselves, hate their parents, communist losers. So John Cleese says, I see I am being ritually insulted for my support of this man. The uneducated call me racist. I am not a racist. I am a culturist. I believe some cultures are better than others. I prefer cultures, if I can find the rest of this, I prefer cultures that do not advocate stoning, pedophiles, wife-beating, female genital mutilation, and beheading opponents. He left out setting opponents on fire. Call me old-fashioned, he said. And it's really true. The entire Muslim religion says you've got to kill, torture, and enslave the people who don't agree with you, and you've got to conquer them. And if you can't conquer them, you've got to murder them. That's in the Quran. And that's exactly what they're doing in Europe, and it's exactly what they're doing in England. It's exactly what they're doing in France and Netherlands and Germany. All over Europe, they are taking over. They are conquering. Yes, some cultures are better than others, and maybe a better way to say it is they're not better. They're just different than ours, and they don't belong in our country. They are nothing but trouble. They want Sharia law. They don't believe in our laws. They want to put a law in place that supersedes our law, and you can't do it. The United States Constitution precludes it. If you don't like it, go somewhere else. Nobody wants you here. You don't have to be here. And right along that, perfect timing, thousands of illegal African migrants, and they're not just African migrants, they're all Muslims, from Morocco storm the Spanish border. They're coming over by the thousands. It's a disaster. Spain will be overrun and finished, just like England already is, France already is, Germany is right there, Netherlands already is, Belgium already is. It's a disaster. All right, let me move on to some other stories that are kind of interesting, just to show you the insanity of the left. The far left Ninth Circuit Federal Court rules that illegal aliens arrested inside the United States cannot be held in mandatory detention. It's impossible to deal with loony lefty communists. And that's what they are, radical, bribed, communist traitors who hate our country. And I'm sorry to say this, but they're going to have to be dealt with. Something's got to be done about communist judges who are traitors to the United States of America and traitors to the Constitution, who hate Americans and love illegal aliens. Something's got to be done. I don't have the answer what. I've said before that maybe you've got to ignore everything they say, because I know the president of El Salvador cleaned up El Salvador by ignoring the judges, not listening to their rulings. That's one possibility. Just ignore them. Number two is arrest them. And you say, well, you can't arrest them for nothing, Wayne. Well, I think there are already laws on the books in the United States Congress. I'll have to look up the names of them, but I know they're there, that say communism is illegal in the United States of America. It's time for President Trump to announce that communism is illegal in the United States of America, to announce that communism is banned in the United States of America, to declare communist organizations like the Democrat Socialists of America as enemies of the United States and domestic terrorists. And it's time to prove that people are communists. And when you do, kick them out of the United States of America. If they're illegal foreigner, if they're foreigners, if they're illegals, deport them. If they're legal foreigners who became citizens, revoke their citizenship and deport them. And if they're American citizens and they're communists, make them leave the country. Make them leave. I don't care that they're American citizens. They have no right to cause revolution, foment revolution and insurrection and a communist color revolution in my country or your country. No right, because communism is and should be illegal in the United States of America, and Trump should affirm that. Communists gotta go. You don't like my country, get the F out of my country. And you've got to, I believe, demand lie detector tests of the judges and ask them if they're communists and ask them if they're bribed by the Chinese Communist Party, bribed by the Mexican drug cartel, and then you got to do forensic audits on their bank accounts. I think we're at that point. There's no choice anymore. And if you want to be a judge and you don't want to do a lie detector test, then don't be a judge. Nobody says you have to be a judge. There's no gun to your head. If you can't accept lie detector tests, then don't be a judge. The United States Congress is going to have to pass a law that says all judges take lie detector tests once a year to show their loyalty to the United States of America. And again, to show you how insane these people are. I keep saying we need a divorce in this country. The left cannot survive with the right. We can't survive with these people. They're nut jobs. They're communists and they're traitors. They're radical. They're extreme. And there is no compromise with them. The WNBA has, thank God, amazing. Just because of public pressure, they realized that no one's going to go to WNBA games anymore. They have fined the co-owner of the Seattle Storm and suspended her from the next 5 home games after she, get this, and by the way, she is the single ugliest woman I've ever seen in my life. And that's saying a lot because I've seen a lot of liberal women. They are the ugliest people in the world, liberal women. And this ugly, liberal, lesbian-looking slob, this fat Rosie O'Donnell slob, cursed out teenage girls for supporting Sophie Cunningham and women's sports. She found a little girl with a sign that said, "Thank you, Sophie, for defending girls." And she cursed her out. And she's the co-owner of the WNBA Seattle Storm. What a disgusting piece of garbage. The league imposed an undisclosed fine following the ugly confrontation at Tuesday night's game at Seattle's. This says it all. The name of the arena is the Climate Pledge Arena. The Climate Pledge Arena. They're pledging to stop climate change. Really? How are you doing that sitting in your seats watching a women's lesbian basketball game? I'm not quite sure. I didn't realize lesbians are against climate change and straight people aren't. But the woman's name is Celeste Keaton, and she's been banned from attending the next 5 home games of her team after she berated 2 teenage girls for supporting Indiana Fever guard Sophie Cunningham and her defense of women's sports. The confrontation happened during the Storm's home loss. Thank God they lost to the Fever at Climate Pledge Arena. The teenage girls wore athletics shirts highlighting biological sex and held a sign. In other words, the shirts they wore showed that they were biologically women, and a sign that read, "Thank you, Sophie, for speaking up for girls." And then Keaton, the co-owner, approached them, raised her voice, called them effing insane. These are fans at her team's game. Called them effing insane, used the F word, and launched into a rant that left at least one of them in tears. And reports indicate she invoked religion, telling them she hoped Jesus could forgive them. Well, she's fat and ugly with a lesbian haircut, so I'm guessing the co-owner of the team is a lesbian. So this is what gets people so mad. They're lesbians. They make love to one group, lesbian women, and they love transgenders. And they get uptight when you say, "I'm a girl" or "I'm a woman," and you're not. And they get very mad at that. So this is what you have it when you give a team ownership to a lesbian woman. I think she's lesbian, not just because she looks like a lesbian, but she's sitting next to a fat, ugly slob who must be her wife, her common-law wife. 2 fat, ugly slobs sitting next to each other. Perfect. Really quite amazing what's going on in the world. Back to that situation in Spain, because I've got another article about it. The White House blasts the Spanish government. Remember, the Spanish government is a socialist government. That's how this happens. Thousands of migrants surge in from Morocco. Emergency request denied. Over 2,000 people crossed the Morocco border in 10 days, with Queta's president calling it a peak of particular intensity. I love the words that elite people use, you know? Elite people wouldn't understand me saying someone who's fat, ugly, with a lesbian haircut is probably a lesbian. They wouldn't understand that because I speak in plain common language like my father, the butcher, and I will always be proud to be the son of a butcher, and I know what I see. You're ugly, you're fat, you're a slob, you got lesbian short hair, you are a lesbian. Doesn't make you bad, but when you open your mouth and berate little girls and use the F word, that does make you bad. When you defend transgenders and call people who want girls to be in girls' sports only, when you call them insane, effing insane, you are a bad person. The White House bashed Spain's left-wing government after the border between Spain's North African enclave of Ceuta and Morocco collapsed on Thursday. President Trump has long warned Europe what would happen if they continue to implement far-left globalist policies, including enabling mass migration, said the White House Deputy Press Secretary Anna Kelly. Spain and other countries have adopted this destructive philosophy, should immediately reverse course or risk their own demise. And the video shows hordes of apparently military-aged men smiling and posing for cameras, some carrying swimming flippers and sprinting through the streets as authorities struggle to corral the unruly masses. So a couple things. First of all, why is it always mostly military-age males? Because they're being sent here to destroy our Western civilization. Number two, what's the deal with all of this? Well, it's illegal people, illegal immigrants, illegal aliens, whatever words you want to use, foreign migrant invaders, and they want to come to Western countries because they want to suck off our taxpayer money for the rest of their lives. They're lazy, violent, vile bums who want nothing to do with work, and they will spend the rest of their life on welfare, food stamps, in America, earned income tax credits, which should be called unearned income tax credits, housing allowances. They'll drop children left and right with no birth control, and they'll expect those children, thank you, Supreme Court, you stupid mother truckers. The Supreme Court made it legal to drop a baby in America, even though you're illegally in the country. So let me ask you something. If you break into my store, you're illegally in my store, and you have a baby, should I be responsible for the baby for the rest of my life? That is the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my entire life. It's impossible to believe the Supreme Court has a 6-3. Is it 6-3? No. Yeah, I think it's 6-3. A conservative advantage, 6-3, and they voted 5-4 to let illegals drop babies in our country, and they can stay here forever, and they'll be citizens. I've never heard anything so outrageous and stupid and ignorant and destructive and suicidal in my entire life. All you're doing is encouraging and rewarding strange people, bizarre people, deadly people to your country who are going to come here and literally destroy our country. We're going to commit suicide. They're not wanted here. They're not going to do good for us here. They're not here for good reasons. There's no problem I've got with immigration. None. Everyone in my family originally immigrated to America. They came here to work. They never took a dime of welfare. It's a different breed of people. As John Cleese says, not all people are equal. Not all cultures are equal. Some are better than others. America was built in the early 1900s by a flood of white, Italian, Jewish, Irish, Polish, European immigrants, and they made America great. And what's coming now is effing America. It's just the truth. They're not here to help America. They're here to bury America. They're here to destroy America. They're here to make America a welfare state and a socialist nation like the third world crap hole they all came from. It's mental insanity. If you ran away from your country, common sense says, and you came to my country because it's better, you shouldn't want my country to be like your country. It's all insanity. And the left is gone mad. And we've got to find an answer to the leftist judges. I gave you a few answers: lie detector tests, forensic audits, ignore them or arrest them. It's got to be some combination or one of those four. Without it, our country is lost. It's not going to make it. These people are mental, crazy suicide bombers, and they're out to take us with you. They're like a drowning man that when you go rescue him, pulls the lifeguard under with him. That's what you're dealing with, and we've got to separate from these people. We either get rid of them or we divide, we divorce, and we have the great American national divorce, and we have red states of America and blue states of America. But I can't live with these people anymore. They're insane. Our time is up here because we've got a great guest waiting. We've got to do a quick ad break. Let me mention the sponsor of this segment. It's my other TV show, America Speaks. I'm hosting my TV show, America Speaks, in Las Vegas in front of a live TV audience for the first time ever. America Speaks, my brand new TV call-in show on Real America's Voice TV. I want to hear your opinions, your comments, and questions live on national TV. I listen to you. I give you a mic. I give you your 15 minutes of fame on TV. And you get to watch two shows for the price of none. The cost is free, $0, to watch Eric Bolling's show, Main Street America, back-to-back with my show, America Speaks, live in Las Vegas, Friday, August 7th, meaning a week from this Friday, at the Ahern Hotel on Sahara, just west of the Strip, starting at 1 p.m. Vegas time. Reserve your spot now. Go to rootforamerica.com, my website. Right at the top, it shows you how to grab a seat. Or go to eventbrite.com and buy the tickets directly from them. But there's no buy; they're free. Just grab the tickets from them. Reserve your ticket from them. When you go to Eventbrite, search for Wayne Allyn Root. Admission is free, but you need to reserve your spot today before it sells out. VIP tickets available for $10. Real America's Voice brings two national conservative superstars, Eric Bolling and Wayne Allyn, to Vegas live, and you're in the audience at the Ahern Hotel. Go to rootforamerica.com or Eventbrite now. And coming up in about an hour and a half is my TV show, America Speaks, where you get to call in. You can watch it live on YouTube at Real America's Voice YouTube channel, and then you can watch it replayed every night on Real America's Voice at 12 midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. But you can go at 6 p.m. Eastern to YouTube, look up Real America's Voice, and see my show live as it films, and you can call in at that moment, 1-800-347-ROOT. Line up. Yesterday we filled the whole hour with great calls, 1-800-347-ROOT, or leave a voicemail 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 800-347-ROOT, which is 800-347-7668, or email me, wayneroot@gmail.com, and I'll read your email on the air. Thank you. We'll be right back. Hi, this is Wayne Allyn. If you're sick and tired of supporting woke companies, I have great news for you. You don't have to anymore. You can shop where my family shops at GreatPatriotStore.com. My team researched thousands of companies for my best-selling book, The Great Patriot Boycott Book, and one stood out above all, GreatPatriotStore.com. This is the answer to inflation. Hundreds of household products that you're already buying. Much higher quality, no toxic chemicals, delivered right to your door at incredible prices. 20,000 American families are joining every month, and you should too. And now they've got the beef, pasture-raised with no hormones, antibiotics, or mRNA ever, exclusively available only to their members. Like Costco or Sam's Club, you need to become a member. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com, fill out the form, and they'll contact you right away. And boom, you're a member. For a limited time, the annual membership is $1. Go to GreatPatriotStore.com. That's GreatPatriotStore.com. Hi, this is Wayne Allyn from my great... Hey, Wayne Allyn, America Speaks. You call in and we talk about it. Your opinions, your comments, your questions. How do you call in? 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-ROOT. 800-347-7668. The show airs at midnight East Coast time, 9 p.m. Pacific, but we tape it at 6 p.m. East Coast time, 3 p.m. Pacific. So you call in at 6 p.m. Eastern, and I talk to you, and it airs that night at midnight. The phone number again, 800-347-ROOT. That number is 24/7. You can leave voicemails. We play your voicemails on the air as well.
Hey, Wayne, what do you think about Obama?
He was a communist, socialist, Marxist radical.
I agree.
Or you can email me, wayneroot@gmail.com. I'll read your email live on the air with your comments or questions. America Speaks. All right, Patar, the director, says, action, action. We're acting out here. Things are good. We're on live on Warzone Live, the official podcast, by the way, of the Gateway Pundit. They've got 2.5 million daily readers. We are the official podcast of their very popular website, the fifth most popular conservative news site in the United States of America, behind only Fox News and Breitbart and the Wall Street Journal and the New York Post. That's some great company to keep. Congratulations, Gateway Pundit, and congratulations to us for being the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. Over 1 billion page views last year for the second year in a row, and our podcast is moving along fine with thousands and thousands of people watching every single day from coast to coast. And then coming up in an hour and a half, it is my national TV show on Real America's Voice television. It's called America Speaks, and I let you get the microphone, and I let you tell me what your big issues are, what you think, your opinions, your comments, and your questions for me live at 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific on Real America's Voice's YouTube channel, and then replayed every night on Real America's Voice at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific. You can call in at 800-347-ROOT, 800-347-ROOT. And then I want to mention the sponsor of this segment, then we'll get to our guest. who's waiting patiently. The sponsor is VRA, Vertical Research Advisory, which is an incredible economic and stock newsletter. It isn't just for rich people anymore. I should say investing isn't just for rich people anymore, because this newsletter isn't for rich people. Kip Herridge founded Vertical Research Advisory, VRAinsider.com. 23 years ago, he retired from Wall Street with his goal to help mom and pop investors with his amazing investment newsletter, and he's done just that. His goal was to help the little guy and gal, average middle-class investors, hit returns like the rich guys do with hedge funds, except even higher returns, and by God, he did it. It's the 23rd year now, but for the first 22 years, of course, this year isn't up, so we can't tell you what he'll do this year, but for the first 22 years, he beat the market 19 out of 22 years, almost 90% beating the market. And Barron's reports the average Wall Street money manager loses to the market 90% of the time. You decide whose advice you want. Kip wins almost 90%. The big shots on Wall Street lose 90%. And Kip's not just beating the market by a little bit, he's beating it by a mile. Last year, his picks were up 35.7%. This is his daily newsletter portfolio that he prints every day, up 35.7%, over 27% in 2024, and over 50% in 2023. Can you beat those numbers? I don't think so. Can anyone beat those numbers? I don't think so. I'm a witness. I've watched it for 23 years every morning in my inbox. He sends you an email every morning. So join now at VRAinsider.com. You have no risk. You get 2 weeks free to start. And then you decide if you want to stay. I believe you will stay for life. VRAinsider.com. VRAinsider.com. 100% free for 2 weeks once you join. Very inexpensive. And the results are one of a kind. Now you can win like wealthy investors on Wall Street for a fraction of the cost. VRAinsider.com. All right, my guest is here, Brett Sutton. Brett is a prominent attorney in Las Vegas, managing partner of the Sutton and Hague Law Corporation. He's the president of the Keystone Corporation, which is one of the most impressive pro-business groups in the state of Nevada, if not the most impressive. The website is KeystoneNevada.com. And Brett Sutton's with us. Brett, how are you? Welcome aboard.
Doing great. Thank you for inviting me.
It's my pleasure. You know, even though this is a national show, everybody watching knows I'm a Vegas guy. Matter of fact, Every time President Trump sees me backstage, I remember he was talking to Sean Hannity and Judge Jeanine, and I walked in and I said, "President, how are you?" And he turns around, looks at me and goes, "Judge Jeanine, Sean Hannity, meet my Vegas guy, Wayne Root." So I'm his Vegas guy, and I am a Vegas guy. I love this town, and it is my hometown for 24 years now, adopted hometown. And I love the zero taxes on income tax. It's wonderful. And I think what happens here doesn't stay here. It spreads all over the United States. So I do talk occasionally about things happening in Vegas that I think are good or bad for the rest of the country. You had a commentary in the Vegas newspaper, the Las Vegas Review-Journal, and it's titled "A Better Alternative to the Film Studio Tax Credits for a Strong Nevada Economy." So tell everybody what this is about. I'll set the stage real quick, and then the floor is yours. All the legislators here and the governor, who I support very much, but I don't support this part of it, he wants a film credit for all the Hollywood studios. And I'm just sick of us giving taxpayer money by the millions or hundreds of millions or billions to billionaires. Why should we give billionaires money, Brett? It doesn't make sense to me. If they want to come here, they should love to come here and spend their own money because we have zero income tax. Why come here and expect us to pay for you to come here? It sounds like billionaires are illegal aliens. They want to come here and we should pay for it. So you have a better idea for the film tax credit. Tell everybody what it is.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, and thanks for the opportunity again. Yeah, the film tax credit would cost $120 million a year, and these are transferable tax credits. It's close to giving them cash is really what it is, because regardless of what they make, they can get the $120 million in tax credits and sell them to other businesses at a discount if they want, or full price if someone's stupid enough to pay it. But typically they would sell it at a discount, usually 10%, and they get the cash regardless of, truthfully, what they really owe in taxes. And that's $120 million a year invested in an industry that at best is uncertain with its future. That's a reality. We all know with artificial intelligence,
The film industry is in a great state of change. There's one of the largest film studio owners is just filed bankruptcy. It is not a good investment. And versus Nevada, which really needs to diversify its economy. And Nevada has a commerce tax that was foolishly passed. I hate to say it, by a Republican legislature and
Republican governor. Brian Sandoval.
Governor in 2015. It pains me to say that because that was their only notable achievement from that session was a new business tax and a gross receipts tax. So if your business grosses above $4 million, you have to pay the tax even if you lost money. It's insane. And it covers a broad range of industries. So my proposal is, rather than giving $120 million to the film studios, which is not a good investment,
each year,
the commerce tax, the gross receipts tax that I described, that brings in anywhere between 75 and 89 million each year to the state of Nevada. Why not just get rid of the commerce tax?
Right.
And that's a way of injecting that money into a broad range of industries. There's no administrative costs, and it helps attract businesses to the state. That's a better proposal in my view. And so that's what I'm proposing in my op-ed.
I love it.
And yeah.
Can you make my voice louder, Pitar? Somehow it just isn't getting through the way it normally is. I don't know what's going on. Over here, not my sound, my voice. Just put the sound up, the volume up. Okay. Oh, all right, you pump it up a little bit because I can't even hear it in my ear. There we go, now I hear it. So look, the good news is it's almost a match. As a matter of fact, the state loses less money by getting rid of the commerce tax than they would lose giving to the filmmakers, but the key is it would also go to the filmmakers. If they want to come here, they would benefit because they don't have to pay that 4% commerce tax, not 4%, the percent above 4 million in income. Yes. What is the percent they have to pay, like 2%?
It's a sliding scale, and I don't know all the percentages, but
I think it's about 2%. Yeah, but it's on the amount you make over 4 million. So certainly all the movie companies would have to pay that, and suddenly they wouldn't have to pay that. So I think that's very fair.
And I want to make it clear, if Sony and Warner Brothers or any company wants to come to Las Vegas or Summerlin and build a film studio, God bless them.
We want them. It's great.
That's wonderful. I'm not against film studios. And I would think if the CEO of Sony walked into a bank and said, "Hey, we're looking for a loan," I would think a banker, if they thought it was a good loan, would want to give it as big as they want. I would think that if the CEO of Sony wanted investors from private equity or some other source to invest in a very profitable film studio, which they say it's going to be, they would have no problem getting investors. So why is it that instead of taking those options, they're having to go to the taxpayers, lobby politicians, wine and dine them, and whatever else they do in order to get $120 million of taxpayer money? I think that's all you need to know, and it should tell you what the answer is. They're not sure it's going to be successful either. So, but if they want to come to Las Vegas and build a film studio, I welcome them. We should help them in terms of getting their permits and helping them develop that if that's what they want to do. But we shouldn't give them taxpayer money.
All right, so a couple of things.
What we should do is repeal the commerce tax, which would do more to attract business to Nevada on a wide scale. And as you point out correctly, the film studios would also benefit.
Right. So a couple of things I want to bring up. First of all, Mark Davis of the Raiders. And again, I'm glad the Raiders came. I like the Raiders. I'm thrilled that they are our team in the NFL. It's perfect for Las Vegas. I'm sure it's added a lot of money, revenues to all the major casinos in town. I'm sure it's been good for overall tourism business. All of those are good things. I'm glad the Raiders came. But did we really have to give them $775 million of taxpayer money? That was another mistake. Here's Mark Davis. He comes to Las Vegas hat in hand. He's the poorest owner in the NFL by a mile. He's worth $200 million. Everyone else is a billionaire. His team is worth less than any team in the NFL. Do you know that? It was 32nd out of 32 teams. The Raiders are worth nothing in Oakland. He comes here, he gets us to give him $775 million, which is the most money ever given by taxpayers in the history of the United States to a team owner to build a stadium. Now he builds it, and now the team has gone from being worth $1 billion to close to $10 billion. I think it's $8.5 billion. He made $7 billion in Vegas, but he took $775 million for the taxpayers. If he had class, he'd announce a press conference and say, "I'm giving it all back to the taxpayers." And the people would cheer him, and he'd be the most popular guy that ever lived. And instead, he took the $775 and doesn't say a word about it, and he owes nothing back, and he won't pay it back. And yet he made almost $8 billion and soon probably 10 billion by moving to Las Vegas. Same thing with the film studios. They're rich guys. They can make their own decision. We don't need to give them money to come here. And the second point I want to make, Brett, is Los Angeles is collapsing. Everybody wants to leave LA, and the film studios need to get out and come to a wonderful place called Las Vegas. We don't need to beg them or give them money. They need to come here because LA's taxes and LA's woke culture has driven everyone out. And that's why I was shopping for houses in Summerlin, Brett. Houses that I thought used to be $2 million and 2.5 are now $4 and $5 million. Everyone from LA that has money is moving to Summerlin. So if they want to move to Summerlin, which is where Sony wants to move, let them pay their own way.
Great. Yeah. No, I agree. I think, I'm a California refugee, so I've seen both states. I still do business in both. And, I think Nevadans sometimes don't understand how much they have to offer to a business looking at it. There's already so many benefits for some of the businesses you mentioned and many others. We don't need to give them taxpayer money because they're going to come anyways. They're business people. They understand the benefits of it. Better employment laws, better tax laws, less regulation. While there's some things I want to change, in Nevada laws, as you do, especially the commerce tax, overall, Nevada's far superior to California. It's a great option for them. And as you point out, just moving their business here. I was at an event last night. Someone moved their business from San Jose. Actually,
they'll make money.
They're going to make money. They were talking about how much less their rent was, how much less insurance premiums were, on and on and on. Their overtime, they don't pay as much overtime to their employees. All these things, all these financial benefits. And they didn't get a dime from taxpayers. They did it anyway. So especially with the film studios, with that industry, it makes no sense to me. And I welcome them. I hope they decide to come, but we shouldn't give them that money. No.
They should run ads. They should run ads in California with businessmen like me, explaining that since I moved here, I have saved like $100,000 a year in taxes for the last 24 years. So I've saved $2.4 million. They should run ads with me explaining that isn't even the best benefit of moving to Las Vegas. The best benefit is because there's no income tax, personal income tax. There is a commerce tax, as you said, if you own a business. But because there's no personal income tax, I've never been contacted by the state of Nevada once in 24 years. If I lived in California, I'd be getting constant notices from the Franchise Tax Board, giving me headaches, making me run to my accountants, my tax lawyers, and pay them all kinds of extortion money. And in Nevada, I've never heard from government once in 24 years. Do you know how wonderful that is? Everyone with a brain and a business should move to Las Vegas.
Yes. Yeah, Nevada's a great place to do business. It still is. And we want to make it better. Because I think Nevada, one of the things for me is not only want to be a thriving state, but I look at it as kind of like the border between California and Nevada is almost like the Berlin Wall. I'm glad it's gone, but you know what? We used to look back, and you remember it, and I remember it, and we could see a stark contrast between communism on the one side and freedom on the other side. And everyone's trying to get out of the communist side. Right. And I look at if we can make Nevada, keep it a free state, reasonable regulations, all the things we love about it, people can see the difference. They're going to look at California and see what's going on there and all the people leaving, just like they saw from East Berlin to West Berlin. And I feel the same way. Obviously, thank God we don't have a wall like that. But you have this contrast where you can see one against the other. And we know what people want. We know which way they're going. They're coming this way. And so that's part of the reason I want to keep Nevada free. I want to keep it at a very competitive from a business standpoint, and that's what we want to do. And I think we need to get rid of the commerce tax. If we have $120 million to give to the film studios, then we have $80 million to get rid of that tax.
You know, Brett, there are smart people, there are dumb people in this world. I'd like to meet the person that's moving from Nevada to California, because that's a dumb person. I'd love to hear what their reasoning is, why they'd leave Las Vegas, as an example, for Los Angeles. You'd have to be mentally deranged to make that opposite move. As we say goodbye to you, I want to make sure you get in a plug for Keystone Corporation. Tell us what it is and what you do and how people can get involved with Keystone, which is the preeminent pro-business organization in the state of Nevada.
Thank you. Appreciate that. It's KeystoneNevada.com. And we just celebrated our 30th anniversary last year. And we are a pro-business political action committee. We don't get involved in social issues. We leave that to other people. We're focused on business. And we're focused on getting reasonable regulation, low taxation, and conditions for thriving business in the state of Nevada. And we have a former governor on our board, former lieutenant governor, a lot of great business leaders. We have a fantastic board, and we fight hard. We work with the governor, and we're big supporters of the governor, by the way. We've got to reelect Governor Lombardo. It's so important, because if not, his opponent will sign every form of California-style legislation that's put in front of him. And Lombardo has saved us from that the last 4 years, so we're big supporters of him, and we want him to get reelected. And we're looking to recruit and support, as we do, pro-business legislators in the state of Nevada to create this good economy that we can enjoy and grow it in the future. So that's Keystone Nevada. That's our mission. We have our dinner on September 17th. Kayleigh McEnany is our speaker. I know, Wayne, you'll be there. You were there last year, and we're looking forward to everyone. If you want to sign up and go to the dinner, last year we sold out, and it's on our website. Love to have you.
I'm sure you'll sell out again this year. Kayleigh McEnany is a great speaker. I've been to several events where I introduced her and I gave the opening speech for Kayleigh. So, and in Las Vegas. So I know she's a great speaker. I know she'll do great in front of Keystone. And I love what you stand for, because it's what I stand for. I'm like 95% of what I talk about is business and economics and jobs and taxes and regulations. And of course, the border I talk about, because I think that affects jobs and taxes and America's survival, and takes away from American workers. But that's 95%. I stay out of social issues. It's not my thing. Social issues are none of my business. And I think for the most part, I live and let live. You want to be gay, you want to be this, you want to be that, do it in the privacy of your bedroom. I don't care. I care about making money, and I care about opportunity, and I care about getting rid of regulations so all of us have opportunity to make money and mobility. So it's a match. So I love Keystone. I appreciate what you do. Give the address one more time where they can find out about Keystone.
KeystoneNevada.com.
KeystoneNevada.com. Brett Sutton is the chairman of Keystone, president of Keystone Corporation, and hopefully there's a Keystone or something like it in all 50 states. Someone who fights for a pro-business environment and for businesses to have a great state to be in, and that's what Keystone does. Thanks for all you do, Brett.
Thank you. Thanks for all you do, Wayne.
All right, we're headed to a quick break. When we get back, of all the news I haven't gotten to yet, and believe me, there's always a lot of it. Some of it makes your hair stand on the end of your head. You just can't believe how evil and crazy the average liberal is in this country. They're insane. And I'll have more on that when we get back. Don't forget, my call-in show starts in about an hour and 15 minutes. America Speaks, 1-800-347-ROOT on Real America's Voice TV's YouTube channel. And then you watch it tonight on Real America's Voice TV at midnight Eastern, 9 p.m. Pacific, 1-800-347-ROOT. Call in. We'll be right back. All right, Wayne Allyn Root. Joining me is Silvano De Genova, owner of Tangible Investments. Sil, I've known you forever, and I've been buying gold forever and silver forever and rare coins forever. It's great to have you with us. With the Iran deal done, how do you see the economy and inflation moving in the near future?
Well, nothing's really changed. We're in an inflationary environment. The government deficits are through the roof. The reality is that oil prices may come down, but inflation is going to be with us long term.
How does inflation impact the demand for gold and silver?
Well, the more inflation there is, the more demand there's going to be for gold. People want to get away from their paper assets. They want to hold something that is going to hold its value or appreciate in an inflationary times. And gold and hard assets are the only real thing that are an insurance policy against this type of inflation. And the reality is we may still have rampant inflation. And we saw that under a different administration. And this one's doing okay to try and buckle it down. But long term, government spending is not going to stop. The world government spending is not going to stop. And that's going to be good for gold and hard assets into perpetuity at this point.
And world debt is not going to stop, and America's debt is not going to stop. It just keeps getting higher and higher. How should buyers of gold and silver know which gold products to buy and what to avoid?
Well, they certainly don't want to buy products that trade or are being offered at big premiums. If you're going to buy gold as your hedge, you want it as close to the spot price of gold as possible. Right now, we have an anomaly. You can actually buy some fairly rare coins at no premium or very little premium to just bullion coins, like $20 gold pieces that are 100 years old. We're selling them at $50 over the melt price. Okay. Or you can buy bullion coins from us at a very small premium over the spot price. There's a lot of gimmicks out there, and a lot of companies selling certified gold coins at big premiums and saying they're a gold investment. Well, they're not. I mean, you're going to have to overcome their markup.
If you want gold, silver, precious metals, or rare coins from a real firm with real credibility and honest pricing, call Sil. Tangible Investments is Silvana's company, 888-330-4351, or go to the website they created just for my fans, rootforgold.com. Tell them War sent you. Wayne Allyn Root. The root is on fire. Welcome back to the show. Let's get back to some of the Fauci stuff that we talked about the entire show yesterday. Senator Ron Johnson unloads devastating safety data on Fauci. He says the COVID shot logged nearly 7,000 death reports per year while the FDA ignored warning signs and pushed remdesivir. That's what I talked about yesterday, not only on this show, but also in my commentary. I didn't know about Ron Johnson. I had no idea he did that, or he held up charts. I didn't know about it till today. I just saw this today. But I talked about ivermectin. I talked about remdesivir and how it causes death, and how nurses across the country call that drug run, death is near. Remdesivir, run, death is near. Don't let anyone ever give you remdesivir. Devastating safety data. It's a disaster. And they could have given people ivermectin that not only is super effective against COVID, it's not a cure because it's not a guarantee. There are no guarantees, but it was really effective for me. And it had no side effects. And how do I know it had no side effects? Not only did I take it and beat COVID very quickly, and it turned it into a minor cold, but I take ivermectin every week of my life to keep from getting sick now. Every week of my life, once a week, I take ivermectin as a preventative. And it has no side effects of any kind. I haven't noticed a single thing ever. And I've been doing this for years. And I got that information from several holistic doctors who said you should take it as I think they call it prophylactic, a preventative, once a week. And I do. And there are no side effects. But, look, I've seen all the stats. I have thousands of stats that will show you that millions of people died from the COVID vaccine. Millions. 17 million worldwide is the best number anyone can come up with, died directly from the COVID vaccine. Ron Johnson is going by the VAERS list. The VAERS list shows about 7,000 death reports per year. And by now it's been 6 years. It's like 40,000 people died from the COVID vaccine, according to Ron Johnson's charts. And I know that's enough because when 25 died in the 1970s, late 70s, from the swine flu injection, they stopped the program because 25 people died. You can't give it to people if 25 people die. It's not right. Physician first, do no harm. Well, if 7,000 a year die for 6 years, that's 42,000 dead. And what Ron Johnson evidently doesn't know, or he just doesn't want to stick his neck out on the chopping block, because you can absolutely say on the VAERS list 40,000 people died from the COVID vaccine as reported by doctors and nurses. But he doesn't want to stick his neck out and say that Harvard did the studies and another major university did the studies, I think Johns Hopkins, and only 1% of all vaccine deaths or drug deaths are ever reported to VAERS. So whatever number VAERS has, you're supposed to multiply it times 100. So if you multiply 42,000 times 100, it's 4 million dead in the United States from the COVID vaccine. Now, I don't know if that number is anywhere close to accurate. I've heard anywhere between 500,000 and 1 million is the right number, maybe like right in the middle, 600,000, 700,000 dead. Can you imagine 25 people died from the swine flu vaccine and they ended the program? They canceled the program. But now 7,000 deaths a year reported to VAERS from the COVID vaccine, adding up to about 40,000, and no one's done a damn thing about it. 40,000 people dead when a physician's number one goal is to do no harm. You're not allowed to kill people in order to help them. That's not part of the physician's code. Let's murder people to help them. 40,000 dead. Forget about the fact that Wayne says multiply by 100, or I should say Harvard says multiply by 100 on average, and it could be 4 million dead. I'm certain there are 4 million dead and injured from the COVID vaccine. I don't know if there's 4 million dead, but around the world there's 17 million dead from the COVID vaccine. And if you just throw all of that out and just accept the VAERS list, which has been accurate throughout history, Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, it was set up to give a clue when something's wrong with a drug or a vaccine. 40,000 dead versus 25, they canceled the program in the 1970s. Truly amazing. And then, secondly, Fauci invokes the fifth as Ron Johnson, same U.S. Senator for Wisconsin, unloads a huge stack of ivermectin studies. You said there's no evidence. There was all kinds of evidence, he said. He waved a massive stack of papers in the disgraced former NIAID director's face, exposing one of the most brazen lies of the pandemic. And I said this yesterday. I said it in my commentary. Ivermectin could have saved millions of people from dying and being injured from COVID, and they never would have needed the COVID vaccine, and it cost pennies. And they turned it into a joke that nobody wanted to use because they claimed it was for horses, pigs, and cows, only for farm animals. And if you're not a farm animal, the FDA said, you shouldn't be taking ivermectin. Well, that's a lie. There was the animal version of ivermectin, and there's a human version. There was always a human version. Humans took it for years, and there were almost no side effects. So Johnson, as in Ron Johnson, senator of Wisconsin, zeroed in on a 2021 CNN appearance where Dr. Fauci said science declared there's no evidence ivermectin could help against COVID. You said there's no evidence that ivermectin is helpful, Johnson said. On that exact day, there was a website that was tracking the randomized control studies. Here they are showing 60 to 70% efficacy of ivermectin. The same day you say there's no evidence, there was all kinds of evidence. He didn't stop here. He pressed Fauci on whether he was involved in the FDA's coordinated attack on the Nobel Prize winning drug. Ivermectin won a Nobel Prize because it saved so many lives, I believe, from malaria. And on the parallel sabotage of hydroxychloroquine, because the only way to secure emergency use authorization for the experimental mRNA COVID shots was to claim no other effective treatments existed. Johnson said, Senator Johnson, loved ones had to go to hospitals, had to sue hospitals just to make them try it. So I would want to know, to what extent were you involved in sabotaging hydroxychloroquine and ivermectin? And did you do that because you knew the only way you could get emergency use authorization for these experimental gene therapies was if there was no effective treatment? You couldn't get the emergency use authorization. So is that why you helped sabotage these two cheap generic drugs in favor of remdesivir, which, by the way, nurses, are you aware, call it run, death is near. I'm betting he got that from me, by the way. After the confrontation, Fauci declined to answer the question. On advice of counsel, I respectfully decline to answer based upon my rights under the Fifth Amendment. So, I mean, how many years have I been saying this? And finally, there's one senator, one out of 100, who agrees with everything Wayne Root says, that the COVID vaccine was deadly. The COVID vaccine killed untold numbers of people. It never should have been put into play. It was not safely tested. It never should have been kept going. They should have canceled the program when they saw people dying. And he agrees with me that ivermectin was a cheap and a very effective thing that could have been used, drug that could have been used to beat COVID. And they actually demonized it by calling it a farm animal drug for pigs and cows and horses that no human should take. And then finally, and then we'll call it a day in our podcast, Senator Tom Cotton says Fauci is a lying disgrace who worked with the leftist media to smear those who pointed to the lab leak. Well, Senator Cotton, He did more than that. He smeared and censored anyone who disagreed with the COVID vaccine. It wasn't just the lab leak. It was the COVID vaccine. It was the ivermectin. It was the remdesivir. If you disagreed with anything he said about any of them, the media treated him like he was a god. You know, it's funny. When I was in my 20s, I was late 20s, I was the lead anchorman and host of 5 shows for FNN Sports, Financial News Network. That was when I got my first national TV job. That's why I've been on TV, I say, for 40 years. Well, it started in the late 1980s as I was one of the youngest guys on national TV in my mid-20s on Financial News Network, FNN Sports. And while I was doing FNN Sports, I decided that I should be a conservative talk show host like Rush Limbaugh. And I made a demo tape. And I don't know where that demo tape is to this day. It may be around. It may be buried in one of my files. I've got so many thousands and thousands of files around my house in my storage shed and my storage unit. It's unbelievable. So it's buried somewhere. I'm sure it's there if I could find it. It's on an old-fashioned cassette. But you know what my demo tape was? It was Wayne Root speaking for an hour on the topic of experts are idiots. That they all have fancy degrees and they talk super intellectual words to try and intimidate you and blow you away that they're smarter than you, and they actually know nothing and they're always wrong about everything. My entire tape was how experts are idiots. That was my title of the demo tape. Wayne Allyn Root says experts are idiots. And I wanted to impress talk stations with this 1 hour tape where I just started talking, and I went an hour for how experts are idiots and everything they say is wrong. And I gave example after example of how experts are wrong. And here it is all these years later. And you can see experts are wrong about everything. Everything that Fauci said, everything that Birx said, everything that all the doctors around Fauci said, everything that the WHO said, the World Health Organization, everything the UN said, everything the UN ever said is wrong. Everything that the FDA, the AMA, the NIH, National Institute of Health, my God, all of them, the American Medical Association, AMA, the CDC, they were all wrong about everything. Masks don't work, totally wrong. Lockdowns don't work, wasn't needed, totally wrong. Social distancing, totally made up, fraud. The vaccines, totally, complete fraud, deadly, dangerous, not safe, not effective. Everything they ever told you was wrong. Experts are overeducated morons. They know nothing, and their guesses are always wrong, but they're wrong in favor of them getting rich. So I guess they're not guesses, and they're not really wrong. It's a purposeful attempt to bamboozle you and me and make billions of dollars for themselves. And they give you wrong information so that they just happen to get rich. That's not a mistake. That's a purposeful attempt to be a moron so that they can get rich. So experts are idiots, and experts are wrong, and experts are failures, and Exhibit A is Dr. Fauci. And here's one last example as we say goodnight for the show. TMZ, you know TMZ, the famous celebrity site and celebrity TV show. Harvey Levin is the guy who founded it. He's an attorney. He's Jewish like me, and he's a liberal like most Jews tend to be. Unbelievable. And he claims that watching the Anthony Fauci hearing was just heartbreaking. Heartbreaking that they were so mean to Dr. Fauci, who tried to save America. And he said it was just like the climate under Joe McCarthy. It was a witch hunt. We're all in a witch hunt against Dr. Fauci. Oh, my God. Harvey Levin is a brain-dead moron. Another liberal, bamboozled, brainwashed. What was that show called? Stepford wife. That's the word I was looking for. A Stepford wife. He believes everything he's told by the lying media and the lying experts. How embarrassing. And one last thing. I said that was the last thing. I'm done with Fauci for tonight, but I want to mention why Europe is finished and finished forever. Because in England and Wales, for the third straight year, the number one name for babies born this year is Muhammad. They're finished. That's the end of England. America's got a lot of problems, but I don't think we're anywhere near the point where the number one baby name in America is Muhammad. I'm not sure if Muhammad is in the top 100 in America. That's why we still have a chance to survive. Okay? Maybe Jesus is the number one name. That might be a problem too. Not as bad as Muhammad, though. Very scary letting something like that happen to your country. As John Cleese says, Not all cultures are the same. Not all cultures are equal. Some cultures are better than others. Our nation should not let these people in who have weird cultures that believe in murdering women, who talk back to them, that believe in burning people who disagree with them, that believe in hanging people that disagree with them, that believe in literally burying you up to your neck in sand and throwing bricks at your face, but believe in spraying acid in a little girl's face if she wants to go to school, that believe in murdering a woman for daring to want to drive her car alone or walk out of the house by herself or walk anywhere without wearing a shroud over every inch of their face, or believe in throwing gays off the roofs of buildings. Not everyone's the same, and the Muslim culture that believes in Sharia law is not meant for the United States of America. I'm sorry. And we got to keep these people out, bad people out. And that includes Muslim migrants, that includes radical Islam, and that includes anyone who hates Jews and hates Christians. Keep them out of the United States of America forevermore. And those who are in, if we find out that's what they believe in, let's get rid of them and deport them. I'm Wayne Allyn. This has been a great version of my podcast, Warzone Live, the official podcast of the Gateway Pundit. My website is rootforamerica.com. My email is wayneroot@gmail.com. And you can talk to me live on the air starting in 1 hour from now at 800-347-ROOT on America Speaks on Real America's Voice TV's YouTube channel. Go to YouTube, look up Real America's Voice. My show will be live at 6 o'clock Eastern, 3 o'clock Pacific. And you can call in 800-347-ROOT if you don't have time to wait. Just leave a voicemail there right now. We'll read it on the air. 800-347-ROOT, 800-347-7668. Have a great night. God bless you. God bless America. God bless Trump. And viva my tax-free Las Vegas. President Trump wants to make America the energy capital of the world, make America energy independent again. Here is a project that could help accomplish that, or certainly go a long way to helping accomplish it. I'm so proud to introduce you to a real America hero of the energy industry, Mark Bruner, founder and CEO of Lost Soldier Oil and Gas. Mark is a second-generation oil and gas legend whose companies have created more than $15 billion in shareholder value, including Ultra Petroleum. But Lost Soldier could be bigger than Ultra Petroleum, with what could be the largest gas discovery in the United States in 100 years. It's 40,000 acres. It took them 40 years to piece it together in Wyoming. Mark, welcome. How are you?
I'm great. Good to see you again, Wayne.
Tell us more about Lost Soldier. What have you got?
Well, I think we've got a really big gas field. I mean, in order to understand why it's just being done now, you got to understand the history. There was a uranium mine out here, and whenever there was a meltdown by 3 Mile Island, they started reclamating this mine and shut it down. 3 years ago, I got a call that basically asked me if I would drill it because they finally got the release and the reclamation was over and they had permits to drill it. So we drilled it, and it's the biggest discovery that I've ever made, okay? It's basically deep overpressured gas. Starting at around 13,000 feet, it's like a layer cake. It's just zone of overpressure is what it is. So we're very excited about it. The other great thing is that it's surrounded by infrastructure, legacy fields that are essentially run out, and billions of dollars of infrastructure is there for us to utilize, and we don't have to build it. We're building a 5 mile line to hook into that infrastructure, and we believe we can produce up to 400 million a day within 36 months to fill that line, and then we're going to build a bigger line. That's the plan, and yeah, we couldn't be more excited, Wayne, about what we have.
Hey, Mark, listen, I want to make sure people that contact you, if they're accredited investors and they want to hear more about the project, they want to get involved, they go to lostsoldier.com. Lostsoldier.com. Mark's got a whole team. Every one of them has 40 plus years of experience in the energy and oil business, and they will contact you, call you back, or email you back. We've got a great guest, but we don't have him yet. so I can't talk about him, but I can talk about his company, Energized Health. Just go to energizedhealth.com, energizedhealth.com. John Jubilee is the founder of energizedhealth.com. It changed my life. Everybody knows the story. If you've listened to my podcast, if you listen to my show, Real America's Voice TV, America's Top 10, which, by the way, our show did run at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, as well as that evening, as well as Sunday evening. So we got a lot of runs of our show in this weekend. America's Top 10. A lot of people sent me fan mail telling me best show ever. The best show I've ever done. Well, I don't know. They're all pretty good. Every week, I don't give the credit to me. I give the credit to all the great Democrats out there that keep making my stories so good. I've got so many wild stories that sound like the Babylon Bee, right? It's a joke. It could be Saturday Night Live, the Babylon Bee. It's a comedy routine. The things that Democrats do just make me so entertaining to tell their stories. Thank you, Democrats. But Energized Health is a sponsor of that show, this show, all my shows. I lost 25 pounds of fat when I started the program, gained 10 pounds of muscle in only 88 days, 5.5 years ago. We got John? 5.5 years ago. And it changed my life, and it changed my career and extended my career. So thank you, Energized Health. All you have to do is go to energizedhealth.com, energizedhealth.com, say WAR when you speak to them for Wayne Allyn Root, WAR, and you get 40% off. It's a great deal, best deal in the world, because it changed your life, and you get 40% off. Energizedhealth.com. All right, John Jubilee's with us. Let's cue the video, Zach. Play the video right now, testimonial about Energized Health.
Where are the millennials?
We want to take advantage of preventative measure, right? I mean, we don't want to wait until we're 50, 60, 70 years old to take care of our health, because we start now. That creates longevity. If you can prevent, that's what you want to do.
My hat's off to everybody that's doing this, and I just hope more start doing this before they start taking medication.
Invest in your health earlier rather than later.
All right, Energized Health. Every week we have a new testimonial. They've got so many testimonials, it's unbelievable. John Jubilee is with us, the owner and founder of Energized Health, energizedhealth.com. Johnny Jubilee. What's up, Johnny?
Hey, great to see you, Super Wayne.
All right, great to see you. We hear a lot about treatments for illness, but not as much about preventing illness in the first place. Why is preventive health not talked about more, John Jubilee?
Well, it's because, Wayne, that's like our grandparents taught us that, right? That an ounce of prevention is worth a pound of cure. You know, our grandparents knew what it was about. But this new generation, they're all about, you know, hey, if I don't need it right now, I'm not going to do anything. And so, but we have definitely seen, Wayne, a new push of millennials. These guys are doing their research. You know, they're going on ChatGPT and Claude and all these AI things, and AI is telling them it's way better to deal with it before you have a health issue. And so we've definitely seen a new surge of younger people coming in, because it is 100 times easier to prevent an issue than to fix one after the fact.
And many people don't take action until it's too late. What are some early signs the body gives us that we might be heading in the wrong direction, John?
Yeah, well, Wayne, here, first of all, the body does always give us signs. It really does. Unfortunately, we're all like the frog in the pan of hot water. So, you know, you've all heard about the science experiment. They took a frog, they put it in a pan, they turned the heat on, but because they just turn it up a little bit at a time, the frog just stays in the water until it's cooked, until it's dinner, it's frog legs. And why? Because it happens so slowly, and that's how illness and disease, high blood pressure, diabetes, you know, arthritis, strokes, heart attacks, those things come upon people so slowly that they're like the frog in the pan. But it could be the littlest thing. You know, just stop and really check yourself. You know, is my energy level the same, you know, as it was a year ago, 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago? You know, check yourself. Is my energy dropping off? You know, am I getting sleepy in the middle of the day? You know, do I have challenges that I did not have previously? You know, just stop and ask your spouse, by the way. Your spouse knows. They probably don't want to tell you because they don't want you to think they're nagging you. But ask your spouse, honey, do you think I'm the same as I was, or I'm dropping off a little bit?
Well, the good news is I'm the same. I have the same energy I had 15 years ago, but as I show the pictures on the screen, I look a lot better than 15 years ago and haven't had any drop off in energy than 15 years ago, and I owe that to Energized Health. Energized Health changed my life. If you guys could put those pictures on the screen, that would be a perfect timing right now. Wayne Root, 15 years ago, there I am, 15 years ago. I've only been on this program 5+ years, but 15 years ago, that's what I look like. And I was 50 years old. Now I'm going to be 65 this July, coming up fast, 65th birthday. And here's me in the gym at age 65 years old. Show the before and now the after. 65 years old in the gym, feeling and looking as better than I looked when I was 50 years old, 15 years ago. So good job, John Jubilee. Great job by Energized Health. Really appreciate it. What are the most common habits or lifestyle factors that slowly lead to chronic disease?
Well, again, Wayne, I'm just going to use that frog in the pan. You know, we all don't realize how we just start slowing down. You know, all of a sudden, you know, we don't walk as much. We're in the chair more. We're in front of the computer more. We're scrolling on our screen more. We're losing our movement. All of a sudden, it's like, yeah, that snack looks good. Let's go for, you know, next thing you know, we're eating all these processed snacks. You know, so we've all learned since RFK came in that, you know, it's the seed oils, it's the processed food. That really has been one of the huge factors, not the only one, but it's been a big factor of the downfall of American health, is just that they made it so easy for us to grab processed food.
Yeah, well, I mean, if you drive around Las Vegas and you see the lines at McDonald's, the lines at Burger King, the lines at all these fried chicken joints, and I'm not talking about Kentucky Fried Chicken. There's like 5 different kinds of fried chicken joints in Las Vegas now, from the South, from Houston, Texas, from all over the place. The lines are so long. I mean, I eat chicken all the time, but I don't eat fried chicken ever. I don't eat fried foods. You know, I eat French fries, but they're not fried. They're baked. The key is to stay away from fried food. You can't eat fried food, and I try and limit any sort of bread or any kind. So I eat lots of meat, lots of chicken, lots of fish, but I don't eat it with a baked potato. I don't eat it with bread. So you're not getting the carbs and the starches. So, you know, that's been some of the keys to my success, and I learned a lot about it from John Jubilee and Energized Health. Thank you, John. What does a true preventive strategy look like, John?
So look, real prevention is take an action step to do something that is proven. So just like Wayne, when you're sitting there sharing, like you are the walking billboard of a proven scientific protocol that transforms lives. And of course, you have hundreds, if not thousands, of your own viewers that also have their own testimonials. I can't tell you how many times, you know, we do a weekly Tuesday night call, and how many times people say, Wayne Allyn Root, Wayne Allyn Root, Wayne Allyn Root. I mean, sometimes, Wayne, it feels like, you know, virtually every person on the call heard about Energized Health from Wayne Allyn Root, and they say, no, this forever changed my life. My doctor said I'd just have to have medication the rest of my life, but now I'm off all my medication. They told me I would always just carry this little bit of extra fat because I'm older, but now I lost it. I look like I did back in college, like you do, Wayne, like back when you were in high school. That is the story of thousands of the Wayne Allyn Root community and viewers because of you.
All right, and that's wonderful. I really appreciate that, and I'm really thrilled about that, and I hope it adds up someday when I head up to heaven. I hope that you get a little chalkboard and they say more positive than negative. Wayne did some good things. And John did some good things. How does intracellular hydration play a role in preventing some really bad health problems like high blood pressure, inflammation? Inflammation, by the way, kind of leads to every single problem in the world. So if you keep inflammation down, you don't have any of those problems or any of those diseases.
Yeah, well, Wayne, that's why there's been dozens of doctors that did this to me. They pointed their finger in my face and they said, you cracked the code. You cracked the code because you reverse inflammation. And inflammation, they say what Wayne said. Those doctors, Wayne, they all say, listen, inflammation, 99.9% of the root cause of every illness and disease is inflammation, and your breakthrough science of intracellular hydration reverses it, and that's why you're helping so many people.
I think everybody agrees now that inflammation is the cause of most disease, and that the answer is intracellular hydration, and I've read that in so many articles now. And of course, I've known about it since long before the articles I've seen the last 2 years. That's all John Jubilee ever drilled in my head was intracellular hydration. Intracellular hydration. For almost 6 years now, he's been talking about it and drilling it into my head, and it works. And we appreciate it. Hey, John, what are a few simple practical steps someone could take to begin protecting their health in the long term? You got like 30 seconds. Go fast.
Yeah. Well, the first thing, guys, is definitely, I would say, do what Wayne did. Do what Wayne did and just get yourself on a healthy protocol. But listen, I'm not saying water's going to get in your cell because you're drinking water. There's 12 things that you have to do to open up your cell, but that is a good first start. Drink your water and go for a walk. So at least start getting those two things going. Get a little movement and get some hydration in there.
It's priceless wisdom. Simple but priceless. EnergizedHealth.com is the website. Go on it, watch the free masterclass. Click on the free masterclass. It'll teach you everything about this program. You will want to do it, trust me. My fans get 40% off EnergizedHealth.com. Test it out, try it out. You'll be on it for life like I am. EnergizedHealth.com. Say war and get 40% off. Thank you, John.
Thank you, Wayne. Love you, brother.